Brewed in Canada since 1828 by your Greater Detroit Chrysler Plymouth dealers, who invite you to see all their new 1977 models now on display. By Marathon Oil Company, people who got together to work together to do it better. By the Champion Spark Plug Company. Champion reminds you that the fresher your plugs, the better your mileage. By City National Bank, where your regular 5% savings earn 5.20% effective annual yield, the highest in Detroit. By Sears, where America shops. And by the Detroit News, who extend their best wishes for a winning season. Go Tigers! Now for the pregame color, the players, and the action to follow, here's Ernie Harwell and Paul Carey.
Hi, everybody. We've got a beautiful day in Toronto as the Tigers try to win their first game of the season. So far, they've dropped the first four. And the Blue Jays, right now, are leading the Eastern Division. They have taken 3 out of their first 4 games. In the West, Kansas City and Texas, each undefeated, and each has won 4 and lost none. Today, it'll be the veteran right-hander Bill Singer on the mound for Toronto. And the Tigers will be countering with their veteran, the left-hander, Dave Roberts. The series here stands 1 victory for the Blue Jays and none for the Tigers. Paul Carey's here, and we'll be both back in 1 minute with the starting lineup.
Radio 76 puts the fun back in radio with WJR's great entertainers. J.P. McCarthy from 6 to 10.
Well, what's your handle, Jim? Would you rather not say?
The big noise. Jimmy Lance from 10 till noon.
We are going to present Come to Me from the Pink Panther Strikes Again a bit later on in the show.
Mark Avery from 3 to 6 afternoon.
Afternoon music call from WJR Radio Detroit. Nice to have you along.
Warren Pierce, 7 to 10 at night.
Captain Thorson, tell my listeners exactly where you are tonight.
I'm on board my ship in shipyard in Underfjord.
Jay Roberts, 11:30 p.m. to 5 a.m.
After finding out who I was, and they'd say, well, we listen to you all over the country.
Radio 76. You get more out of it because they put more into it. WJR's great entertainers.
Umpires meeting now at home plate with the 2 managers. Let's swing around to Paul Carey.
All right, Ernie, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Kind of a sad day for Tiger fans with the announcement just before the ball game that longtime Tiger Willie Horton had been traded to the Texas Rangers. The compensation not yet decided upon, but apparently it will be a player that will be named later. Willie giving every indication in his interview with Ernie Harwell on our pregame program that he would indeed report to the Texas Rangers. So it's kind of a passing of an era, in a sense, as the Boomer heads to the southwest. This is game 2 of the 4-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays. The Tigers winless in 4 starts, dropping the opener of the series yesterday 5 to 3. Little things have hurt the Tigers, not always noticeable things. Some errors of omission on occasion, playing a hitter a bit wrong in certain situations, as well as a few breaks. But by the same token, the Tigers have not been hitting, and their pitching, which was already suspect coming into the season, has been very spotty. We've had the meeting at home plate already, and an announcement is being made right now, trying to make a special presentation to a native of the area, John Hiller, the 8th relief pitcher of the Tigers, a native of Scarborough, about 20 miles away from downtown Toronto, being honored prior to the game here today. John had a 34th birthday last Friday. He was signed in 1963 by Bobby Prentice, who is now the director of Canadian Scouting for the Blue Jays. And making the presentation, Mr. Amy Causey, the past president of the Scarborough Baseball Association. They're going to be bringing the Blue Jays onto the field. Let's give you the Tiger batting order first of all. Leading off, playing in center field will be Ron LaFleur. Batting second at second base, Tito Fuentes. Hitting third, right fielder Ben Ogleby. Batting fourth, the designated batter for the Tigers, Rusty Staub. Hitting fifth at first base will be Jason Thompson. Batting sixth, left fielder Steve Kemp. Batting seventh, doing the catching, Milt May. Hitting eighth at third base, Aurelio Rodriguez. And batting ninth, the shortstop, Mark Wagner. The Blue Jays have taken their defensive positions in the field. In left, it will be Scott. In center, Gary Woods. In right, Steve Bowling. At third, it's Dave McKay. Bob Baylor starts at short. Pedro Garcia at second. Doug Ault at first. Behind the plate, Rick Cerrone. Join us now for our national anthem. Playing of the two national anthems for the United States and for Canada. Bill Singer out on the mound to take his final warm-up throws, and before the game gets underway, we'll pause for these messages.
We got together to do it better, and that's what we did. When the Marathon Oil Company was put together, it was put together right. Because the whole idea behind Marathon was to do the job better. So Marathon get the best oil people, and the best pipeline people, and the best refining people, and the best service station people, and put them all together to do it better. We got together to do it better. That's what we did. Marathon Oil Company. We got together to do it better, and we do it.
Well, the veteran right-hander Bill Singer opposing the Tigers today. The Tigers countering with left-hander Dave Roberts making his second start of the year. Dave starting the opener against Kansas City last Thursday. We'll get a station break your way at our first opportunity, but right now we're about ready to get underway. Ron LaFleur stepping into the batter's box, and here for the play-by-play is Ernie Harwell.
Thank you, Paul Terry. Hi again, everybody. LaFleur batting an even 200. The right-hander Singer delivers. It's a bounding ball to George shortstop. Cut off by third baseman McKay. Throw to first. He's out by 2 steps. One down, and let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the Detroit Tiger Baseball Network.
From Lou Gehrig to Mark Fidrich, Radio 76 has always known the score. And it's the kind of sports information that you've come to expect from America's great radio station, WJR Detroit.
Here's Tito Fuentes. He'll be batting left-handed. He has 4 hits. That's as many as anybody on the team, Verizon and Thompson. Also with 4 apiece. Tito batting 250. Singer delivers. It is a strike call. A couple of protagonists from the National League facing each other right now. Singer is one of the several players in baseball history who has won 20 games in each major league. There's a pitch over for a strike. Rookie umpire Durwood Merrill going up for the right-hand call on an inside fastball that clipped the corner. So 2 quick strikes on Tito. Singer delivers again. It's a wide one, very wide. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Beautiful day here in Toronto. Even warmer than it was yesterday. Bright and sunny. Here's the windup and the pitch. He swings, fly ball, hit to deep right center field. Going back is Boulding, also Wood. Neither one can get it. Takes a big hop and bounces over the fence. It will be a 2-base hit.
That's happened out here earlier in the first homestand, or the first series of Toronto. This artificial carpet is pretty spongy, pretty soft, and it takes a big hop out there. That's a 12-foot fence, so it took a big high hop. Could have been a free bagger for Tito.
I think it was almost automatic that he would have had 3. Well, here's Ogilvy to try to get him home. Tito Fuentes on second base. That's Tito's second double of the campaign, and the 4th for the Tigers. Time called. Doug Alt, the first baseman, had to go in and get his glasses, his sunglasses. They have Alt at first. Garcia playing a very deep second now. He's back in right field. Baylor is the shortstop, and McKay at third. Man on second. Tigers trying to get something going early. No score first inning. 1 man out. There's a ball low. Gets by Cerrone. Breaking for third now is Fuentes. He slides in safely. We don't have any communication with the press box here. No intercom. So we'll have to find out whether that'll be scored as a wild pitch or pass ball. Anyway, Fuentes is at third base. And 1-0 delivery coming up to Ben Ogilvy. Ben hitting 154. Infield is back on him. He takes a wide one. Ball 2. Set by Singer. The right-hander looks toward third. He pitches. Here's a bounding ball. Deep second base. Garcia knocks it down. Pick up. Throw to first. He is safe at first base. The run scores. And the Tigers have a 1-0 lead in the opening inning. We'll have to wait on the score on that one to see whether he will give a hit to Ogilvy or charge Garcia with an error. It's an error flashed on the board. But probably Ben will be given an RBI because the ball was hit deep, and even had Garcia fielded the ball cleanly, the run would have scored. Here's Rusty Staub at the plate. Rusty batting 143. That's 2 hits and 14 trips. Singer deals over to first baseman off, but back in time is Ogilvy. Right-hander sets and pitches. It is a ball outside. Missed the far corner. Man on first, Ogilvy leads off as Staub takes a low fastball. The count is 2-0. Singer checking his sign with catcher Cerrone. He sets. He pitches. And Staub takes. It is a strike called on the inside corner. Mr. Carey is back from the press box.
And out of breath, too. I hope we don't have to do this too many times. It was a pass ball, an error on Garcia, and an RBI for Ogilvy.
Thank you, sir. There's a throw to first. It gets by Alt. Bounds into the Tiger dugout. Ogilvy goes to second. And we've got a question here now, whether it was the pitcher who made the error or the first baseman. The low throw. And we're trying to get it from hand signals from the press box. Got to be an error, though they haven't flashed it on the board yet. 2-1, the count on Rusty Staub. 1-0 Tigers lead in the very first inning in Toronto. Then leading down off second base. The outfield is almost straight up on Rusty. Singer to the set position on the mound. The 2-1 pitch on the way. It is in too close for ball. 3-1 the count now. Well, they flashed the air up, but we don't know to whom it's charged. We'll have to just wait and see about that. Now, Singer ready again. The pitch is a strike called. It is a full count on Rusty stop. Fuentes doubled with a 1 out, took third on the pass ball, scored on the error when Garcia bobbled the ball off the bat of Ogilvy. Now, Ogilvy has gone to second after another error, and he's there with the 3-2 pitch to Rusty. Swung on and missed. The ball picked up by Cerrone. The catcher fires to Ault at first to complete the strikeout, and Ogilvy stays at second. That'll make it 2 down, a man on second, and here's Jason Thompson. Jason hitting .286. 2 RBIs and the only Tiger home run of the year. He hit it right here yesterday. Time called at the plate by umpire Merrill. Jason back in there to wait on Mr. Singer. Here's the stretch and the pitch. It is a hard curve that's over but low. Ball 1. Ogilvy not getting much of a lead at second base. The shortstop Baylor pulled over almost behind him towards second. Singer's about ready to deal. Here it comes. He swings and misses on a changeup. Fooled him with a change of speed that time. One nothing Tigers lead. First inning, they're trying to add to that 1-0 margin. Man on second, 2 men away. Here it is. He takes a curve over but low. 2-1, the count on Jason. Singer will be 33 years old next month. Now makes his home in California. Born in Los Angeles. Last year with Texas and the Twins. But it is a wide one, 3-1. But the Rangers last year, Bill had a 4-1 record. Then when he got to the Twins, he had 9 wins and 9 defeats. But most of his career, he pitched for the Dodgers. Also pitched for the other California club, the Angels. 3-1 delivery. It is a drive. He hit the outside corner. Lots of injuries have hampered the career of Singer. Bone chips, broken fingers, ruptured disc. Waiting on a full count delivery. Here it comes. Thompson takes a strike called. He struck him out, and the inning is over. But the Tigers get a run. 1 run on 1 hit. There were 2 errors and 1 Tiger left. At the end of the first half of the first inning, the Tigers won. The Blue Jays are coming to bat.
And right now at Sears, you men can step into some real comfort and savings. Sears' best Easy Flex men's leather dress shoes. The shoes with first step comfort. Regular $39.99, now only $29.97 a pair. A $10 savings with the fashion look and comfort you want. Choose from slip-ons, boots, and Oxfords in brown and black. Sears calls them Easy Flex because they flex easily the first time you put them on. With foam cushion insole, calfskin leather uppers, durable leather soles, and arch-supporting steel shank. Sears' best Easy Flex men's dress shoes. Now, only $29.97 a pair. Remember, sale ends April 16th at Sears.
you missed our pregame interview on the earlier announcement, Willie Horton has been dealt to the Texas Rangers by the Tigers. The Tigers have not settled on the compensation. At least it's not been announced yet. It is said that the Tigers will receive a player to be named later. We had a long chat with Willie in the clubhouse, and he seems ready to go, although he feels reluctant and badly about leaving the Tigers. But he says that he understands it's part of the game, and he'll be going to Texas, where he'll start a new part of his career. Here's Bob Baylor, the shortstop now to lead off for Toronto. Bob was out with an injured hand, and now Manager Hartsfield is going to platoon him with Mason at shortstop. Right-hand batter takes, and it is a strike called. Baylor's been in 2 games. He has 1 hit and 1 trip, and has scored 1 run, batting 1,000. Up the last couple of years with Baltimore, but most of his career he's been with the Rochester team in the Baltimore system. Takes a ball in close, and Baylor has a 1-1 count on him now. He was Toronto's number 1 choice in the expansion draft. Spreads out at the plate. Roberts delivers, and the pitch is wide. That was the breaking ball outside. For the veteran left-hander, Dave Roberts, seeking his first win. They pitched opening day and was beaten by the Kansas City team. Now Rocks kicks from the division. Here's a fly ball hit into fairly deep right field. Ogilvy going back, reaches up and makes the catch. 1 up and 1 away, and Pete Garcia will be the batter now for Toronto. Garcia hitting .313, delivered a key hit in that 4-run rally in the 7th inning that whipped the Tigers yesterday in their first appearance in this ballpark. Tigers play Pete to pull the ball a lot. They've got Rodriguez over near the bag. They've got the outfield swung around toward left. Fuentes is almost back of second. And Thompson wide of the bag at third. Here's the left-hander Roberts delivering, and it's a ball in low, bouncing off the mitt of Milt May. Dave Roberts will also be 33 years old. He won't make his birthday until September. Last year, you remember, with the Tigers, he won 16 and lost 17. Had surgery in October on his right knee. He's had an arthritic knee. Now checks his sign, ready to pitch to Pedro Garcia. And it's on the way. He swings and misses on a breaking ball. 1-1 to count on Pete. Tigers lead 1-0. We're in the first inning in Toronto at Exhibition Stadium. They've got another good turnout here. It won't equal the crowd they had yesterday. But Toronto is very much excited about having a major league entry now. Here's the pitch. Swing and a long foul fly lifted in the seat. Back of third base, had a gentleman from York made a good catch on that one on the first hop. And here comes Mr. Terry back from the press box. Did you find out about who made that error?
Yes, Ernie. I got my mic on. That was an error on the first baseman on Alt, enabling Benji to move up.
All right, thank you, sir. So there have been 2 errors there in the first inning by Toronto, one by Garcia, one by Alt. There's a pop-up on the right side. Going back is Thompson from first base. Now Fuentes goes back into short right field and picks it off. Threw the ball, and what was it? He almost hit Garcia, I think, going into second base. Although the play was over and official a good bit before that.
He made third base umpire Larry McCoy an infielder over there, helping the Tigers peg it around.
Here's Doug Auld, who's become an instant hero here with his 2 home runs the first 2 times at bat for the Blue Jays. Auld batting .438. He has 7 for 16. former Texas Ranger, although he got into only 9 games with the Rangers. He takes the ball outside. Rookie umpire Merrill is very deliberate on his calls at home plate. 1-0. Tigers lead the Blue Jays in the first inning. Wind up by Roberts. He delivers. It is a strike call. Got a curve across. Well, check the schedule now and come out and see us at Tiger Stadium. The Tigers will be home on the 22nd. That's the day game with Baltimore on the Friday afternoon. And that'll be a 4-game set for the Baltimore Orioles. Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader on Sunday. Then the White Sox come to town, and that's all the Tigers will be home in April. Fastball in too close, that it is a 2-1 count now on all. And we got the Jacket Day, our first big gift day, coming up on May the 8th. That's the single Sunday game with the Milwaukee Brewers beginning at 1:30. Jacket Day. Here's the windup, and here's the pitch. He swings at a bounding ball to first. Thompson has it, race for the bag. Is won by Thompson. Alt is out, and the Blue Jays go down 1-2-3 against Dave Roberts in the first inning. At the end of 1, it is Detroit 1 and the Blue Jays nothing.
You have heard me speak of Cordova. Its performance, its classic style, but something of which I am most proud, its uncommon value. This becomes apparent when Cordova is compared to other fine automobiles. Pontiac Grand Prix, for example. Cordova has more room for more passenger comfort, more luggage space. Cordova even has a wider track. Most interesting. Then there are those features that cannot be compared. Like Cordova's exclusive lean burn engine for smooth performance. Yet, the Cordova S is priced no more than Grand Prix.
Price comparison based on manufacturer's suggested prices of comparably equipped vehicles.
Cordova, truly an uncommon value among fine automobiles.
See the 77 Cordova S at your Greater Detroit Chrysler Plymouth dealers today. J.P. McCarthy maintains your morning merry-go-round from 6 till 10 in the Music Hall. Be sure to join him tomorrow morning here on Radio 76.
Tigers lead 1-0. They come to bat in the second, and the left fielder Kemp will lead it off. Young Steve with 1 hit and 13 tips so far. Outfield will be pulled around to right on him, and the infield deep, especially on the right side. Garcia likes to play deep on this artificial turf, back into short right field on these left-hand batters. Right-hander Singer delivers, and there's a bounding ball to Garcia. He waits for the hop, has it, throw to first, and he's out by 2 steps. Milt May, the left-hand batting catcher, steps up for the Tigers with a .231 average. Paul Atkins and Bert Carlson from Pontiac Central High School dropped in to say hello and say that they're trying to get the Tigers their first victory here in 77. Quite a few folks from Detroit in our fine hotel here, Hotel Toronto. Here's a fastball in close, ball 1.
A lot of youngsters in for the holiday. The Easter break, Detroit Mumford High School, Detroit Henry Ford High School represented, among others.
It's a ball low, and the count is 2-0. Beautiful day. Had a little bit of a shower early in the morning here. Or early in the afternoon and late in the morning. There's the ball outside. 3-0, the count on Milt May. Tigers got to run the opening inning on a double, a pass ball, and the Nera. Ball 4, he walked in. Singer was over the plate with the fastball, but slow. That'll be the first walk for the Tigers, and here's the happy Mexican, Aurelio Rodriguez, stepping up. Hitting .250, that's 3 for 12.
Number 4, the third baseman, Aurelio Rodriguez.
Springer to the set position on the mound. Now pitches, and a ball is blowing outside. Ball one. Springer had a no-hitter when he was in the National League, pitched it against the Phillies back in 1970. Man on first, that's May. One man out for the Tigers. They lead 1-0 in the second. There's a fastball outside. Talking to Larry McCoy before the game, he said he was very much impressed by Roseman. Larry was working back to the plate yesterday. Roy Hartsfield echoed those sentiments. Here's the 2-0 pitch due, and he swings and fouls it away. McCoy was telling us that he was really impressed by Diego Segui out in the exhibition games on the West Coast. He said he had the greatest slider that he'd ever seen. Larry was saying it changed speed in mid-air. I don't know how he can do that, but said he was striking out everybody with that pitch. Well, the old veteran Segui is on the comeback trail.
Wonder if he inspected the baseball.
He probably did. Cerrone may have a hand that's been injured. The trainer, Carlson, comes out to take a look at it. Here's manager Roy Hartsfield coming out. Roy's been alternating his catches. He told us yesterday that he thinks the catchers right now are about equal. Ashby and Cerrone, he's got Roof as the backup man, but he's letting each alternate in the games and finding out which one does the better job, and then he's going to stick with him. Doing the same thing as shortstops do, and in the spot or two in the outfield, although Hartsfield says that basically he's not too much of a platoon man. He thinks that if somebody can hit, they can hit no matter who's pitching. We're still having that little medical confab down at home plate. Is it the wrist, you think, Paul?
Yeah, it's the wrist or at the base of the thumb. Cerrone's having a little bit of a problem. They're trying to freeze it right now. Trainer Ken Carson working on it once again. Rick had that pass ball in the first inning. He's coming out of the ball game, I think, Ernie. He's being walked over toward the dugout. Yep, Hartsfield is making a motion. Now, he has two other catchers on the roster. Phil Roof, the veteran, plus Alan Ashby. Roof is really here for insurance and to help out some of the young pitchers. He was the very first player obtained by the Toronto club after they gained their franchise. They went out and bought Roof just to make sure that they had a catcher with some experience, because they didn't know what they were going to get in the expansion draft and what they were able to deal for. And Roof was available, so they went and got Phil. Now, I imagine we'll see Alan Ashby come out. Ashby, in terms of platooning, should not be a problem. He's now returned to switch hitting. But Cerrone has some great ability, and they want to, as you point out, find out just who's going to win the job here. Here comes Alan Ashby out. He'll be in taking the place of Rick Cerrone. We'll have a few practice throws by Bill Singer. Perhaps we'll get some information later on as to the extent of the injury to Rick Cerrone, a fine young catcher who has to leave here in the top of the second inning. The Tigers having a man on with one down. A little instruction going on in front of the Tiger dugout. Thompson, Staub, Fuentes conferring with Ralph Houck. Obviously looking something, and they're looking out toward the outfield.
Well, let's get back at it now. Rodriguez is stepping in, and the new catcher Ashby gets down to give the sign to Singer. 2-1 the count on the radio. Man on first base, one man out. Tigers lead 1-0. There's a cut and a miss. He went for the outside fastball and couldn't find it. Umpire Denkinger going over and saying something of the Tigers in their dugout. I don't know whether they've been on him a little bit or not, or exactly what it is. Hasn't been anything to argue about yet. Here's the set, the pitch. Rodriguez taps one slowly in front of the plate, picked up by Ashby, goes to second. There's one. Relay by Garcia to first, not in time. It is a force out at second base. The catcher to the second baseman, Garcia.
Good quick play by Alan Ashby that time. Rodriguez a little late in getting out of the box. I think he thought he fouled it off and realized that it was going to be ruled a fair ball. Had to take off.
Buck Wagner batting .250 coming up now. Hartsfield was paying tribute to Mark, the great play he made to fix the Blue Jays out of a rally in the game yesterday. Hartsfield, an old shortstop himself. There's the ball in close, ball one. Man on first, Rodriguez, 1-0 Tigers lead, second inning, they're 2 out. Here's the pitch. Mark Wagner takes a ball wide of the plate, 2-0. I told you yesterday, the field here is just about completely artificial turf. Only spots of dirt at the bases, the mound, the home plate area. And there's also an artificial warning track all the way around the field. Here's the set and the pitch. It is a strike, looks like a splatter on the outside corner. Tigers got a run in the first inning. They lead 1-0. It's a 2-1 count on Wagner. He taps one back off the glove of Singer, fielded by Baylor, flips underhanded to Garcia, and Rodriguez is forced at second base. Oh, that retires the side. No runs, no hits, a walk, no errors, and one man left. At the end of 1 1/2 innings, the Tigers won, the Blue Jays nothing.
Well, we've got a break in the baseball action. Let's take a look at the WJR Weather Center outlook. It'll be warm temperatures carrying into midweek, Horace. The WJR Weather Center forecast from John McMurray. For Greater Detroit, it's calling for sunny weather, breezy, and very warm. We're expecting a high today near 90 degrees, between 85 and 90 degrees. Then for tonight, mostly fair and continued mild. Our overnight low temperature in the 55 to 58 degree range. For Wednesday, it'll be sunny for much of the day. There's possibility of some evening thunder showers tomorrow, and also breezy and warm again like today. The high temperature tomorrow in the 82 to 85 degree range. Currently, it's mostly sunny out at Metro Airport here in Detroit. The official temperature is 88 degrees, the relative humidity a low 23%. The winds are out of the west-southwest at 18 miles per hour, gusting at times to 30 miles per hour. The barometer's at 30.25 inches, and it's falling.
Before the Jays bat now, the Tigers lead 1-0 in the second. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the Detroit Tiger Baseball Network.
Nothing is as permanent as change, and Radio 76 News helps you to understand with time-tested, reliable reporting from America's great radio station. This is WJR Detroit.
Velez, who is the designated batter for the Blue Jays, will lead it off for them against Dave Roberts. 1-0 Tigers ahead. Velez hitting .400. Takes a cut and doesn't get it. Strike one. The one-time Yankee with 2 hits and 5 chips so far. 1 run batted in. Bob Sykes will pitch against LeManchik tomorrow. It'll be Bear against Garvin in the finale of the series on Thursday. And the next pitch to Otto is high. The count even 1-1 on him. Roberts pitches. His curve is low. In the opening day game with Kansas City, Dave went 5 innings and gave up 6 runs and 9 hits. Wind up by Roberts. The pitch is a ball in close. 3-1 on Otto Velez. He swings this a drive to left center. It's up the alley. Chased down by Ron LaFleur off the wall. Velez will get an extra base on this one. The throw coming in, and he's in standing with a 2-bagger. That is the first runner for the Blue Jays, and the batter will be Gary Woods. Right-hand hitting outfielder. Woods is one of the 3 players who's got to hit in every game for the Blue Jays. McKay and Alt are the other 2. Man on second, that's the tying run for the Blue Jays. The Tigers lead them 1-0 in the last half of the second inning in Toronto. Outfield a little bit to left. Now the pitch is fouled away in the seat.
Got some information now on Rick Cerone. That'll leave the ball game. The Blue Jays catcher bruised his right thumb, and he's being taken for X-rays now.
Thank you, sir. Not very much of a lead, but for the man at second, that's Otto Velez. Gary Woods takes a fastball into close. 1-1 the count on Gary. Picked up from the Oakland club, but spent most of his time last year at Tucson. He's played in only 6 games with Oakland, had 1 for 8. Now the set by Mr. Roberts, and the pitch he swung on and missed. That was a breaking ball toward the outside. Looked like it was out of the strike zone. We'd like to repeat the news we gave you earlier. Philip K. Wrigley, the owner of the Chicago Cubs, died today in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. He died at the age of 82 with family members at his bedside. Roberts to the set position, pitches. Bounding ball left side of the infield. Deep goes Wagner, has it. Long throw to Thompson. He got him. Good play by Mark. And holding at second is Otto Velez. Wide range on that play, Paul. He had to go deep in the hole.
Got over there quickly enough so that he could kind of come around a bit and be in a position to make a good throw.
Number 3, the left fielder, Steve Bowling. Here's Bowling, another right-hand batter and another outfielder. Obtained from the Milwaukee club, although he spent most of his year at Spokane last year. Bowling has 0 for 4 as a Blue Jay, and he cuts and doesn't get it. Strike 1. Talking with the umpires before the game, they were all asking about George Maloney, who is still in the hospital, I presume, back at the Ford. We sent our best to George and let him know that his fellow umpires were asking after him. Now the set by Roberts. Tigers lead 1-0. The pitch is a curve in too close, 1-1.
It appears that Maloney suffered no heart damage at all. He had the chest pains and had to come out of that game, the second game of the season in Detroit.
That's good news, and we hope that George will be back in the old dark blue uniform very soon. Here's the 1-1 delivery coming up from David. It's a wide one, 2-1 is the count now on Bodie. He'll be followed by John Scott. A lot of new names sprinkled in this lineup of the Toronto Blue Jays and all over the roster, for that matter. Now the 2-1 delivery. It is a ball low, 3-1. Expansion Club gives hope to a lot of youngsters that might not have made it otherwise. They get this chance, and a lot of times they come through. And also, it helps the veterans hanging on. Gives him a chance to play. Bowling is deep. His feet close together. He likes to move into the pit. Waiting on a 3-1 delivery. Here it comes. He takes the walk. It was just outside. That is the first walk off Robert. It will bring to bat John Scott. He's hitting 1 for 6. A single in this time.
Roy Hartsfield said he would like to have had another month of spring training to look at his prospects. Of course, they were ready to start the season in terms of physical condition, but he needed the time to give the players a chance.
It's a cut and a miss by Scott. I guess, Paul, that's the difference in managing an established team and an expansion team. Established team, you've got 1 or 2 spots to really look for, and on an expansion team, you have to look at most all of them. 1 strike, the count on Scott. Here's the pitch. He swings at a bounding ball. It's back towards short. Wagner over to Pruitt is 1. Relay to first is not in time. Whoa, that was close. There's going to be a big argument about that one. It is not a double play. It's a forced out, and Ralph Houk can't believe it. I can hardly believe it myself.
Oh, my.
Mr. Denkinger is the absolute authority, and he said it was safe at first base.
Ralph is a little frustrated on a field like this. He can't kick too much dirt. You get a lot of carpet in the spikes.
Dave McCarty sits in every game. Third baseman coming up. He's hitting .462. And instead of the inning being over, there are 2 outs with runners at the third. And the Tigers hanging out a 1-0 lead. McKay is a Canadian representative on this team here in Toronto. And he takes a wide one, breaking ball outside. Ball 1 on the day. He's a switch batter, batting right-handed. Man on first, Scott. Man on third, Velez. McKay hits a bounding ball to Thompson. He makes the play on the pitch hit, and the inning's over. Almost no runs on 1 hit, plus a walk, no errors, 2 runners are left. That's the end of 2 innings. It is the Tigers 1 and the Blue Jays 7.
When Doug McAnally goes to work at the roustabout in the Yates oil field in West Texas, he doesn't work alone. He gets together with other marathon men like Leon Gentry, Phil Lemons, and Henry Galindo. And together they go about the business of getting crude oil out of the ground. Doug McAnally can work alone, but the job wouldn't get done as well or at all without the help of Leon, Phil, and Ernie. Because each of them can do something the other one can't. So they get together to do it better. A company's like its people, because it is people. When Marathon found oil, our oil people got together with some pipeline people. We got together with some refining people. We got together with some service station people. So we could do it better. We got together to do it better. Marathon Oil Company. We got together to do it better.
Jimmy Lawrence manipulates the mid-morning mirth and music from 10 till noon. Be sure to join Jimmy tomorrow morning right here on WJR.
Here the Tigers to bat now. And Ron LaFleur, the top of the batting order, to lead it off. Ron hit the first pitch of the game and bounced to the infield. Here's the ball outside. Ball 1. Pruitt will follow, then it'll be Ogilvy. Singer pitches. It is a strike. Mr. Merrill said so. Now, when the Tigers get back home, they'll have their Tiger Day on Saturday, April 23rd. The Orioles will be the opponent. 2:15 game time. They led up in close 2-1. Sunday, the 24th, is Autograph Day. Tigers and the Orioles in a doubleheader beginning at 1:30. Here's the pitch. He swings and misses. 2-2 the count on him. Now, don't forget that Sandlot Benefit Exhibition game, the Tigers against the Cincinnati Reds, on Thursday, April the 28th. That'll start at 7 o'clock. Benefits the Sandlot baseball in the Detroit area. Here's a strike. God, he took a fastball inside corner, and he is called out for window shopping. Second strikeout for Singer. Here's Fuentes, who has the only Tiger hit and has scored the run, the only run of the game. He doubled his first time up. He takes the ball outside. Ball one on Tito. Right-hander Singer winds and pitches. Here's a fly ball left center. Going back is Jerry Woods. Also Scott's over there, and Woods, the center fielder, picks it off. Here's Ben Ogilvy, who was safe on an error by Garcia in the opening inning. A ground ball on which Fuentes was able to score from third base, then pick up an RBI on that one. He takes the ball outside. Ben was hitting well in the spring, but since the season has started, he's not getting his hits. Swings and misses. He took a big cut at that one. Well, we had the big Labatt balloon here for a while, but it has disappeared into the ozone. Or down to the ground or somewhere. There's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, I think they just got it up about 100 feet, said hello, and came right back down again. A token chip. 1-2, the count on Benji. Here it comes. He swings a line shot to left. It'll be foul. Down to the Blue Jay bullpen. Singer ready to work. 1-2 serve. Swing and a foul back at the plate. Got just enough of that one to spoil him. Nothing. Tigers in the lead. Third inning in Toronto. Singer checks his sign. Here's the pitch. A let-up that let up way outside. 2-2, the count on him now. He takes the strike. Struck him out. In above the knees. And the Tigers are down 1-2-3 in the third. A squawk from Ogilvy, but the inning's over. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of 2.5 innings, Tigers 1, Toronto nothing.
Here's something you ought to know. The fresher your spark plug, the better your car's mileage. It's just that simple. The folks at Champion tested cars like yours all across the country. They found that replacing worn plugs with a fresh set of Champion spark plugs can improve your mileage and performance. So if that sounds good to you, fill her up with Champion, the world's #1 seller.
Got some very fancy bat racks in this ballpark. They're portable. Actually, they're big boxes with a number of squares and plastic inserts, and they've got pegs on the outside where they hold the helmet. They've come a long way since the ground crease at Wrigley Field. Bobby Doerr invented that bat rack back in 1935. Remember, they used to lay the bats out in front of the dugout on the ground where they got all the moisture in them. Here's Alan Ashby batting against Roberts, and the pitch is inside for a ball.
You mean Bobby Doerr? Doerr, the old Boston?
No, another guy. Same name, same spelling and everything, but different guy. Downing ball to throw it short. Wagner has a tough play. Throw to first. He got him. He had a charge on that one. A little too far for Regis to cut off, but it wasn't hit very hard. Now, this was the same name, Bobby Doerr, but he was a groundskeeper. Stanley Hack came in a couple of times, tripped over those bats out in front of the dugout, and Doerr decided, well, he's going to try to get those bats out of the way, and he came up with a bat rack that's been used ever since. Here's Bob Baylor, the shortstop. And he takes the ball outside. This is the first game that Bob has started. He's been in a few. Here's a ball outside. 2-0, the count on Baylor. Tigers got a run in the opening inning on a double by Fuentes. A pass ball and an error by Pete Garcia. Now the wind-up in the pitch. Swing, line drive, hit the right field. Here comes Ogilvy. He's there. He has it for the out. Oh, Baylor flies to right. He's hit that ball 80 times. Here's Pete Garcia, or Pedro, if you please. Popped up to Fuentes. Here's the first time at bat. Nothing Tigers lead. They've got one run on one hit. The Jays have no runs on one hit. Both the hits have been doubles. Fuentes and Velez have them. There's a drive to left field deep. Kemp going back to the wall. Reaches up, makes the catch. Had to go for a warning shot, and he got it in the glove. Out number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 3 innings in Toronto, the Tigers won and the Blue Jays nothing.
You're on deck in the Labatt Baseball Trivia Game, and you've got to keep the rally going. Who was Boston's first batting champion? You've got some time, so why not enjoy a cool, refreshing Labatt Blue? It was Dale Alexander. Big Dale was traded partway through the 1932 season by the Tigers, but that didn't bother him. He still took the title with a .367 mark. Yes, fans, there's nothing like a Labatt Blue to bring back the great moments in baseball. Great baseball calls for great beer. Labatt's Blue. Call for Labatt. Brewed in Canada since 1828. Distributed by the Batt Importers Incorporated, Buffalo, New York.
Labatt's Blue is available in selected markets throughout Michigan.
Mark Avery monitors the afternoon arrivals and departures from 3 to 6 in the music hall. Be sure to join Mark this afternoon after Tiger Baseball, right here on the Goodwill Station.
With the Tigers lead them 1-0, and Rusty Staub will face the Blue Jay right-hander Singer here in the fourth inning. Let's tune in on Paul Carey.
All right, Ernie, thank you. Rusty Staub up once, took a third strike in the first inning. Bill Singer has fanned 4 Tigers. High and outside for ball 1. He's walked one. The Tigers have just one hit, the double by Fuentes in the first inning. Fuentes scoring the only run of the game, 1-0 Tigers. There's a ground ball to second base. Garcia back behind the bag. As it throws, almost pulled all off the bag, but he hauled it down to retire Staub. 1 out in the Tiger fourth inning. The Tigers just simply are not getting the hitting this season, and particularly from the people they must depend upon for consistent hitting. Those who were the consistent hitters last year aren't coming through. Ron LaFleur, Rusty Staub, Ben Oglivie, both off to a very slow start. Here's Jason Thompson. He takes a strike on the outside corner. The big right-hander into the motion. The pitch. It's a ball outside. 1-1 on Thompson. 1 out. Base is empty. With a hazy, sunlit day here in downtown Toronto. We're about a mile away from downtown. The pitch. Outside. 2-1. Singer checking his infield, which is playing very deep, and swung to the right side with a left hand hitting Thompson. Into the motion. Singer fires. It's a ground ball to the left side. Behind the bag at second. Up with it is Baylor. He's got it to first in time. And Thompson is retired. 2 up and 2 away. We'll bring up Steve Kemp. Steve has been plagued by a little over-swinging, I think, in the early going this season. He's perhaps a little over-anxious. He really attacks the ball as an aggressive swinger, and as a result, he's really got to see the ball well. It's got to be his pitch to connect, and he's not been connecting that much. He has just 1 hit so far in 14 trips. Singer ready. He kicks and fires. It's a ball on the outside corner, or just outside the plate. And he mentioned earlier the plate umpire, rookie in the American League, Durwood Merrill, is very deliberate in his calls. Takes about 2 seconds before calling. Ground ball to the right side. Gloved by the first baseman. Alt race to the bag. He beats Kemp by a step. And that retires the Tigers on 3 ground balls. 3 up and 3 away. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Tigers 1, the Blue Jays 0.
Jay Roberts helps you make it through the night on Radio 76.
Oh, you should hear the reaction in the last couple of years to certain individuals that are playing on the air. It seems that people are becoming much more vocal. She's really found a husband. Well, it's about time. She's been looking for ages. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing, do-wop.
Jay Roberts and Night Flight 76. Evenings at 11:30 on WJR.
I'm not superstitious, and I don't believe in horoscopes.
Yours looks good.
And I'm not afraid to walk in the ladders either.
I'm not talking about horoscope.
No?
No, I'm talking about horoscope, the new instant lottery thing. You could win up to $10,000 instantly.
Oh, yeah?
Or qualify for $1 million elimination draw.
Now you spilled the salt.
So what?
That's bad luck. Throw some over your shoulder.
Yeah, so you're not superstitious.
Introducing Horoscope, the new instant lottery game. All signs say it could be the greatest instant lottery game ever.
Now, clap your hands twice and hold your breath while I dance around the table.
My soup is getting cold.
Michigan Bureau of State Lottery.
Here come the Blue Jays to face Dave Roberts in the bottom of the fourth inning. It'll be Doug Alt, followed by Otto Velez and Gary Wood. 1 hit for the Blue Jays, that 2, a double by Velez leading off the second inning, but he was stranded at third base. Well, tomorrow we're going to see ex-Tiger Dave Lemantic on the mound against Detroit. This visited briefly with Dave in the hotel lobby here in Toronto last evening. Dave pitched very well and turned in a complete game performance on Saturday for the Blue Jays. And an error hurt him in that ball game. They came very close to pulling it out. Here's Alt, a strong hitting, right-handed batting first baseman. For left-hander, Roberts delivers high and wide, ball one. Alt was runner-up to Joe Rudy in the balloting for the American League Player of the Week, the first award was given. Rudy from California got the award, but Alt had a great first week. There's a called strike on Alt. Hit a pair of home runs and a single, drove in 4 runs the first game for Toronto. Tigers shade him to the left side. The pitch to Alt. High for a ball. 2-1. Roberts has walked a man, has not struck out any. Alt picked up on the third round of the expansion draft from the Texas organization. He takes a breaking ball low, 3-1. On deck is Otto Velez. Roberts getting his sign from Milt May. Taking a little extra time. He rocks. There's the pitch to Alt. He check swings, Monson was to third. Rodriguez up with it. The throw to first just got him by a half a step. A check swing by Alt, and Rodriguez playing deep had to charge that ball, make a good play on Alt. So there's 1 out in the 4th inning. And the batter will be Velez. Coming over from the Yankees in the expansion draft. Otto's played a number of positions. He can play outfield, first base, third base. He's the DH today. There's a swing and a miss by Velez. Been a strong hitter through his career. Been given some opportunities by the Yankees. He moves away from an inside pitch. It's 1-1. Stayed up with the Yankees all last season, but appeared in only 49 games. Roberts ready. The 1-1 pitch. The ball outside. 2-1. Roberts getting his second start of the year. Worked the opener last Thursday. Now Dave delivers. There's a foul back up into the seat. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Detroit Tiger Baseball Network.
Warren Pierce knows your city and your interest. Hear him evenings from 7 till 10. It's the kind of caring you've come to expect from Radio 76, WJR Detroit.
Dave Roberts getting a new baseball back from plate umpire Durwood Merrill. Back took the rosin bag, now looking in for the sign. A 2-2 count on Velez, 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 4th inning. Tigers in front, 1-0. There's a ball high, full count now on Otto. Bob Sykes, the rookie left-hander, will get his first major league start for the Tigers tomorrow, opposing Dave Lemanchik. Bob appeared in relief and did an excellent job against the Royals. The 3-2 pitch to Velez. Ball 4. He draws a walk. That'll bring up Gary Wood. Gary playing center field for the Blue Jays. Grounded out to Wagner his first time up. had an outstanding season in AAA at Tucson last year. He was acquired by the Blue Jays out of the Oakland organization in the draft. Well, as at first he goes, the pitch is swung on a foul behind the plate. Oh, a head-first slide into the bag at second base. The old belly flopper, Velez. And it was fouled off at the plate. The enthusiastic Toronto fans are going to applaud him anyway for his dirty shirt. Great spirit in the city of Toronto, welcoming back baseball, professional baseball, and getting their first major league team ever. Velez at first. That's to edge away now. One down. Stretch by Dave. The pitch to the plate. It's inside for a ball, 1-1. Fastball that time. Moving Woods back from the plate. Jerry checking down at third with Jesse Moore, the third base coach. Here's the pitch. It's a pitch out, and he's not going. Well, it's 2 balls and 1 strike. 1-0, Tigers in front. They scored in the first inning. Set by Roberts. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on and bounced foul down the third base line. Velez was not going, and then he took off, but well out in front, or rather Woods well out in front of the pitch. Count of 2-2 now. Slowing his pace, looking at first. There goes the runner. The pitch is taken. The throw to second. He slides. He is out at second base. Good throw by Milt May, who has really shown a fine arm so far this season. He caught Velez attempting to steal. The pitch was taken for a ball. A little bit high to Woods. A good position for May to release the throw, and he made a perfect throw to second. The tag put on by Fuentes. Full count pitch now. Wood swings a chopper toward third. Charged by Rodriguez. He gloves it near the bag. The throw. Got him. And that's all for the Blue Jays in the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, no errors. Nobody left on base. After 4 innings, it's the Tigers 1, the Blue Jays nothing.
Truly a beautiful and comfortable automobile. So beautiful and comfortable, in fact, some people still think it's expensive. But it's not. Compare Volare to Granada, for instance. Did you know that the Volare Premier Sedan is priced at least $430 less than a Granada Gear sedan? Based on a comparison of manufacturer's suggested retail prices for comparably equipped models with automatic transmissions. Yet Plymouth Volare gives you more room for so much less money. At least $430 less than Granada. Buy or lease a new Plymouth Volare. See the 77 Volare at your Greater Detroit Chrysler Plymouth dealers today. Jay Roberts whittles away those wee hour wearies with conversation and good conviviality. That's on Night Flight, evenings at 11:30 here on Radio 76.
There's an Milt May to lead off the fifth inning for the Tigers. Milt walked his only time up against Bill Singer. Well, Singer split his time between Texas and Minnesota last year, wound up with a total record for the season of 13 wins and 10 defeats in 36 starts, and then was lost by the Twins in the expansion draft to Toronto. They picked him in the third round. Here's the windup by Singer. The pitch to May. Swings and fouls it back into the seats. Looks out below. Oh, boy. That caromed off somebody's head, I believe, down below. All very solid-looking gentlemen in that vicinity, however. One strike on May. The pitch from Singer. Swung on and missed. Strike two. Ernie and I told you yesterday, there's not much protection for the fans here, either from above, the elements above, or from the foul balls. The screen is very small, very low, and does not extend too far to the right or left. Now they pitch outside and high for a ball. A little bit larger than the one at Marston Stadium, but not much. Ball and 2 strikes on May. And Dave Rosemuth made a fine debut yesterday for the Tigers. Got in trouble in the 7th inning and had to leave, but he had to be satisfied with that effort. It's low for a ball. Of course, the complete satisfaction would not be obtained unless he went all the way and unless the Tigers won the ball game. But they did turn in a fine effort for Detroit. His family on hand for the ball game. They've already gone back to Grand Rapids area. There's a fly ball lifted to left center field. Left fielder Scott coming in. He's calling for it and makes the catch. 1 out in the Tiger 5th inning. And we'll bring up Aurelio Rodriguez. Broadcaster over here in Toronto is Tom Keith, and he is assisted by a member of the Hall of Fame, one of the baseball greats of all time, pitcher Early Wynn. Now they pitch to Rodriguez, low and inside for ball 1. I understand Tony Kubek is going to be moonlighting up here as a teleman on the Blue Jays television telecast. There's a strike called on Rodriguez, 1-1. They've got 16 telecasts scheduled to be beamed out of Toronto, and most of them are going to be on Wednesday night, so Tony can still do his weekend work. There's a ground ball to deep third, off the chest of McKay. He picks it up barehanded. The throw to first, safe at first base. Dug out of the dirt by Alt, and they almost got Rodriguez. McKay scrambling to recover. Did a good job of doing so. We'll see how the call goes. It'll be an error charged to McKay. Now that's the 3rd error of the ball game.
Number 5, Mark Wagner.
Throw to first, back in time, is Rodriguez. Well, Blue Jays committed 2 errors in the first inning. Tigers got a run in on one of them. There's a kind of a half swing by Wagner. I had to check, but he had to go all the way through with it. 1 strike on Mark. Wagner bounced out his first time up. Hitting an even 200 at the moment, 1 for 5. Big lead at first by Rodriguez. He goes. It's swung on and missed for throw by Ashby, and he's going to be caught. He is out at second base. Perfect throw by Alan Ashby. A tag put on by the shortstop, Bob Bailey. So the bases are empty now with 2 down and a count of 2 strikes on Wagner. Sending Rodriguez trying to move down into scoring position. The next pitch is way low, shooting through the glove of Ashby. A ball and 2 strikes now on Mark. Pitch from Singer. Swung on. Bounced toward third, foul just outside the line. Singer has bounced around. He's now 32 years of age. He'll soon be 33. 120 games for the Dodgers back in 1969. Pitched a no-hitter against the Phillies in 1970 while on the staff of the Dodgers. And for the Angels, he won 20 games in 1973. There's one high, 2-2 now on Wagner. Slender right-hander Bill Singer looking in, getting his sign from Ashby. 2 outs, nobody on. The pitch to Mark. He catches it outside. Full count. Wagner straight away. As Singer winds and delivers, fouled out of play, back up into the stand. Got a good turnout here for this weekday ball game in Toronto. Not nearly the large turnout of yesterday when they had almost 30,000 on hand. Then a few more had to head back to work or school today, too. The pitch to Wagner, fouled into the seat. Look out, that's one of those streamers over the roof of the Tiger dugout behind first. Young man from Ashtabula, Ohio, Mark Wagner, waiting on Singer, full count pitch. Here it comes. Ball 4. He draws a walk, the second given up by Singer. And that'll bring up the top of the batting order, Ron LaFleur. Well, Ron is 0 for 2 in this game. LaFleur has gone hitless in his last 2 games. Ronnie has bounced out the third and taken a called third strike against Singer. Tigers in front 1-0. They scored in the first inning. We're in the top of the fifth with 2 down. Wagner at first base. Throw to first and Mark is back. Time is called. Singer off the mound. He's turning his back to the plate now. I don't know whether he's got to seem to be adjusting something, whether he's got wearing contact lenses or what. Now he's stepping back up on the mound. Now Singer into the motion. He stretches and steps off the slab and bluffs Wagner back toward the bag at first. Set the throw to first, and Mark is back. We've got some action going on in the majors this afternoon. There was none yesterday at this time. The pitch to the plate, inside for ball 1, and Ron. At Pittsburgh, after 6 innings, the Pirates are leading Montreal 1-0. Only information we've been able to receive. One of 2 day games in the National League. Now the throw to first, Wagner is back. The other one in the National today is St. Louis at New York. Coming in, they have 3 games coming up tonight in the National League. American League has 3 other games scheduled this afternoon. They're all starting later than this one. But that's the pitch. Swung on, fly ball to deep center field, heading back is Woods. Woods still going back. It's off the wall behind him. Bouncing on the warning track. Rounding third and heading home is Wagner. He scores. LaFleur hits for third. Slides. He's safe at third. A triple. Oh, Ronnie showed that power that occasionally comes to the front. With that drive over the head of center fielder Jerry Woods, who raced back to the wall, still couldn't catch up with it. It bounced off the wall and then fell almost dead at his feet, rolling along the warning track. LaFleur's speed carrying him into third base with a 3-base hit. And the Tigers now lead it 2-0. Out to have a little conversation with Lamar Ashby, talking with Singer. LaFleur at third with 2 down. And Tito Fuentes will be the batter. He has the Tigers' only other hit off Singer, a double in the first inning with a ground rule double. As a topper towards short off the end of the bat, Baylor scoops it up, fires to first in time. Fuentes is out. That retires the Tigers in the 5th inning. However, they pick up a run on 1 hit. There was 1 error and 1 man left on base. Here come the Blue Jays to bat in their half of the 5th inning. It's now the Tigers 2 and Toronto nothing.
And Fred Cousins goes to work on the Marathon Pipeline in Powell, Wyoming. He doesn't work alone. He gets together with guys like Tom Graham, Merle Sievers, and John Sparger. And together they go about the business of maintaining the pipeline. Fred Cousins could work alone. The job wouldn't get done as well, or at all, without the help of Tom, Merle, and John. Because each of them can do something the other one can't. So they get together to do it better. The company is like its people, because it is people. When Marathon found oil, our oil people got together with some pipeline people. We got together with some refining people. We got together with some service station people. So we could do it better. Marathon Oil Company. We got together to do it better.
Tigers in front now, 2-0, thanks to the triple by Ron LaFleur in the top of this 5th inning. Moving to the bottom half now, the leadoff man will be outfielder Steve Bowling. Formerly in the Milwaukee system. Dave Roberts fires outside in high, ball 1. Well, Dave's going to be the star of his own new television show to begin later this month on a Detroit channel. A weekly interview program. Check swing by Bowling, but it's in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on him. Dave has never done that type of thing before. He's been interviewed himself, but he's never been the host of anything. There's a swing and a miss for a strike 1 and 2 on Bowling. Dave said he's going to have to do his homework to prepare himself, realizing maybe once now what some of us in our business go through. The pitch is taken high, 2 and 2 now. Bowling leading it off. He'll be followed by Scott and McKay here in the Toronto 5th inning. The pitch from Dave, taken low and inside for ball 3. Dave has walked 2, has not struck out a man, has allowed 1 hit through the first 4 innings. The 3-2 pitch to Bowling. Swung on and missed, struck him out. It was a foul tip. Hung on to by Milt May. Now here's John Scott. Scott, one of several members of this Blue Jays team who have played for their manager, Roy Hartsfield, out at Hawaii. Roy's been out there the last 4 years. And Scott was one who blossomed really last year with Hawaii in the Pacific Coast League. Young man with great speed, but not much of a bat until last year. There's a strike called on Scott. Only prior major league experience came with San Diego a couple of years, and up only for brief spells with San Diego. And they used him mainly as a pinch runner because of his speed. He's played some third, outfield, shortstop. They've got him in the outfield here now. There's a ball outside, 1-1. Last year at Hawaii, Scott had 82 RBIs. He had 15 homers at 315, stole 38 bases. Swing and a miss. So 1-2 on John. The Blue Jays simply bought Scott from Hawaii. Obviously, it's their manager, Roy Hartsfield. Ground ball deep third. It is a foul ball just outside the reach of Rodriguez. Oh, that just missed the bag. Count remains of 1 and 2 strikes on Scott. 1 out, nobody on. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, the Tigers in front 2-0. Got a run in the first inning when with 1 out, Peter Fuentes bounced one over the wall in center field, over the fence, a ground rule double. Took third on a pass ball and scored on a ground ball to the right side by Ben Ogleby that was muffed by Pedro Garcia. As a bouncer towards third, behind the back, Rodriguez has the gun. He's got him. Ooh, it was fairly close at first. The speed of Scott made it tight. So there are 2 down. Tigers' other run coming in the top of this 5th inning. With 2 out, Wagner walked and scored from first on the triple by LaFleur. Here's Dave McKay. Talking with Dave before the ball game, Dave is now a switch hitter. He began to switch last year, prompted basically by an injury to the little finger on his right hand. He swings and bounces one into center field. A base hit between Wagner and the bag at second. McKay picks up only the second into the game off Roberts. It comes with 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and the batter will be Alan Ashby. Ashby in his first pitch grounded out to short. He did not start the ball game. Rick Cerrone did, but Cerrone suffered a bruised right thumb and has left the game, going to have x-rays taken. McKay with a pretty good sized lead at first base. Roberts looks that way. Now comes to the plate. It is outside, ball 1. Ashby was 1 for 7 this season. A 1-0 pitch to Ashby. Swung out, fly below. It's the deep center field, but LaFleur has backs up, is there, makes the catch. And that's all for the Blue Jays in the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left after 5 innings of play. The Tigers 2, the Blue Jays nothing.
To you by Labatt, brewed in Canada since 1828. By your greater Detroit Chrysler Plymouth dealers. See all their 77 models. By Marathon Oil Company, people who got together to do it better. By the Champion Spark Plug Company. The fresher your plug, the better your mileage. By City National Bank, where you get the best bank savings deal in town. By Sears, where America shops. And by the Detroit News, who extend their best wishes for a winning season. Go Tigers. Now, back to Ernie Harwell and Paul Carey for more baseball action.
As the first pitch swung on by Ben Ogleby and driven into the right field corner. He's going to try to make 2 out of it. It's going to be close. The throw to the second, not in time. Ogleby in. The throw a little bit offline in the right field corner by Steve Bowling. Ogleby swinging on the first pitch of the 6th inning. Lines a 2-base hit into the right field corner. That's the Tigers' 3rd hit, and they've all been extra base hits. A double by Fuentes, a triple by LaFleur, and now they double by Ogleby. Here's Rusty Staub. Rusty, 0 for 2 in this contest, has struck out and bounced out to second. The pitch to Staub, taken outside for ball 1. Jerry Johnson is beginning to warm up for the Blue Jays, a right-hander. Looking in for the sign is Singer now. He looks back at second. And the pitch to Staub. Outside for ball 2. That's a very fine day here in Toronto weather-wise. Expecting possibly some rain tomorrow, however. The set by Singer. And the pitch. Staub checks, but it's in for a strike. Certainly better weather than the Tigers were anticipating having over here in Toronto this early in the year. Talking about it down at spring training, they were shuddering at the thought of coming to Toronto at this time. Swinging on the miss by Rusty. He took a vicious cut. Well, the count is even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ogleby at second with a leadoff 2-base hit. The Tigers in front, 2-0. Still seeking their first win of the new season. Staub out of the batter's box, stepping back in. Staub had faced Bill Singer many years ago when he was over in the National League with the Dodgers. Set by Singer. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Singer takes a look in the direction of Staub as he walks back to the dugout. The second time he's gotten Staub on strikes and the 5th strikeout in the game for Singer. That'll bring up Jason Thompson, who has struck out and bounced out to short. Thompson hitting an even .250 at the moment with 4 for 16. Time called now. Singer about ready to go. Walked off the mound, looks back out towards second. Ogleby just steps back to the bag. He's popping the bubble gum out there. Now gets his lead. Here's the stretch by Singer. And the pitch to Jason. He takes it low. Ball 1. Looking in, getting a sign from his catcher, Alan Ashby. He holds, steps off the slam. Blue Jays have Ault at first, Garcia at second, Baylor at short, McKay at third. In the outfield and left, Scott. In center, Gary Woods. And in right, Bowling. Behind the plate, Ashby. Singer ready. Sets and delivers. A little outside. 2-0, the count on Thompson. We have a National League final now. The Pirates beat Montreal 2-1. The stretch by Singer. And the pitch. Low for ball 3. 3-0 on Jason. On deck is Steve Kemp. Count. The pitch is taken. Ball 4. Thompson draws a walk. The third issued by Singer. Well, the Tigers had 2 on with 1 down here in the 6th inning. And that'll bring up the left-hand batting Steve Kemp. Kemp is 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice. Once to second and once to short. Steve's only hit was a ground ball single to right. His only hit this season. The pitch from Singer is taken for a ball a little high. Bob Sykes against Dave Lemanchik in Game 3 of the series tomorrow. Be on the air at the same time, 1:15 with Ernie's pregame program. Now the pitch is taken high for ball 2. 2-0 on Kemp. Ashby out in front of the plate before returning the ball. We get the flip of the cap down in the bullpen, indicating that if they want to bring in Jerry Johnson, they can. He's ready. Still another left-hand batter due up, but then Johnson's a right-hander down there, too, warming up. There's a fly ball hit deep to center field. Going back is Woods. still going back at the wall. He leaps. He won't get it. It's over the wall in center field. A 2-run homer by Steve Kemp. His first, or rather a 3-run homer. His first in the major league. And a big blow for the Tigers. It's 5-0 Detroit as Kemp rounds third. Gets congratulations from his former manager, Freddie Hatfield. Tags the plate, and it's 5-0 Tigers. That home run by Kemp will send a free case of Superior potato chips to the Campfire Girls. Remember, Superior potato chips contain no additives or preservatives. Superior potato chips are a completely natural food. I brought in Hatfield's name because Freddie said Kemp last year at Evansville hit some unreal shots. And that was one right there. That one had to go, well, let's see, at least 430 feet. It went high over the 12-foot fence, just to the right of dead center field. A pitch high and outside. It's 1-1 to count on Milt May. A big blow for the Tigers by Steve Kemp, as he must feel awfully good about it right now. He's been looking for that to happen. There's a ground ball down the first base line foul. Because the Tigers have been looking for that to happen from Kemp, too. He really belted it. Second home run for the Tigers this season. They set a record in exhibition play for homers. A lot of talk about there being a rabbit in the ball this season. Here's the pitch to Milt. He cuts and foul tips that one at the mid of Ashby for a strikeout. Now that's out number 2. Sixth strikeout by Singer. And it brings up Aurelio Rodriguez.
The third baseman, number 4, Aurelio.
5-0 Tigers. Biggest lead the Tigers have had this year was 2 runs before now. Now the pitch to Rodriguez turns him around at the plate. Aurelio ducking out of the way. A double by Ogleby. A 1-out walk to Thompson, followed by Kemp's home run. Swing and a miss by Rodriguez. 1-1. Aurelio is 0 for 2. Grounded into a force out in the second inning, and then was safe on an error by McKay in the fifth. Here's the pitch. It's low for a ball. 2-1 on Rodriguez. Bill Singer into the motion. The 2-1 pitch to Rodriguez. Strike call. The count even 2-2. Singer almost bow-legged out on the mound. In the motion, the 2-2 pitch. Check swing. It's low and away. Full count. The hitting background here at Exhibition Stadium is not a real good one. They have a robin's egg blue padded fence. And a little extension above that. It's just 12 feet high, the hitting background. There's ball 4. Rodriguez draws a walk. The second given up by Singer in this inning. They draped some old black plastic material on the grandstand seats of the football stadium well behind the center field fence. They try to help out the hitting background, but it's still not quite doing the job. The paint job a little too bright out there in center field. There's a throw to first, and Rodriguez gets back. Mark Wagner at the plate. Mark has grounded out and walked. He scored a run coming home on LaFleur's triple in the fifth inning. Strike called on Mark. Now the stretch by Singer. The pitch to the plate taken inside. 1-1. Rodriguez with a big lead at first. Wagner waits. The set by Singer. Here's the pitch to him. Swung on a chopper foul. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Detroit Tiger Baseball Network.
From Lou Gehrig to Mark Fidrich, Radio 76 has known the score. It's the kind of sports information that you've come to expect from WJR Detroit.
There's strike 3 called. Wagner looked at it And the Singer strikes out the side, but the Tigers score 3 times off him, too, in the inning. 3 runs on 2 hits. There were 2 walks, no errors, and 1 Tiger left on base. Here come the Blue Jays to bat in their half of the 6th inning. It's now Detroit 5, Toronto nothing.
You're just in time for the start of the Labatt's baseball trivia game. Did Ty Cobb, the greatest batter of all time with a career average of .367, ever leave a game for a pinch hitter? Think it over a cool, refreshing Labatt's Blue. This is hard to believe, but Ty Cobb was lifted for a pinch hitter in his first season. The pinch hitter's name was Fred Payne. Payne collected a total of 194 hits in his entire career, while Cobb amassed an incredible 4,192. Great baseball calls for great beer. Labatt's Blue. Called for Labatt's. Brewed in Canada since 1828. Distributed by Labatt Importers Incorporated, Buffalo, New York.
Labatt's Blue is available in selected markets throughout Michigan.
We come the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Blue Jays now trail by 5 runs. And Dave Roberts, a little cushion out there on the mound. It'll be the top of the batting order, and Bob Baylor leading it off. Twice he has flied to right. Getting a little late on the Roberts pitches outside. Ball 1 on Bob. He wears number 1, and Baylor was the number 1 pick in the expansion draft by Toronto, their first choice. Comes from Baltimore, inside for a ball. 2-0, the count on Baylor. He'll be followed by Garcia and Alt. Roberts rocks and delivers. Ground ball to third. Near the bag, Rodriguez has it. Across the diamond in time to get Baylor. 1 up and 1 away. Pedro Garcia, who drove in a key run in the victory yesterday for Toronto with his single in left field, tied the ball game. Pedro is 0 for 2 today against Dave Roberts. He's popped to second and fly deep to left field. One out, nobody on. As Roberts gets ready. Here's the first pitch to Garcia. He swings and misses. Garcia had 41 games at Milwaukee and 77 with the Tigers last year. Stands even with the plate. Bat cocked high in the air. The pitch from Roberts inside for a ball. 1-1 on Pedro. Well, the Blue Jays have no minor league team as yet, but they will have next year. They'll have a AAA ball club. And I'm sure a couple of others. Here's the pitch to Garcia. He swings and misses. A sweeper that time, Pedro. 1 and 2 on him. It's been a real tough job for this Toronto organization in a sense to spot people, to put the players that they had to release or to reassign that they couldn't keep at the beginning of the season. They put 2 here and 2 there and 3 at another ball club, most of them in the East, as a foul back to the backstop. Tried to keep them, if possible, fairly close to Toronto so they can keep tabs on them. They've got special scouts covering their players who have been loaned out to other teams. And there are a couple of young pitchers that they want to see get a lot of work and expect to have up here with the ball club within a matter of a few months. 1-2 count on Pedro Garcia. He's batting with 1 out, nobody on at the bottom of the 6th inning. Roberts ready and delivers. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Now, Roberts with his second strikeout in the game. That's out number 2, and it brings up Doug Ault, A-U-L-T.
Number 25, the first baseman, Doug Ault.
Tigers have 2 more games with the Blue Jays here, and then we'll be moving on to the next stop on the road trip at Kansas City. 3 games with the Royals, and then to Boston for 4 before returning home. Home a week from Friday to play Baltimore. Swing and a ground ball toward short. Charged by Wagner. He's got it. Over to Thompson. Ault is out, and the Blue Jays are retired in the 6th inning. They go down 1-2-3. After 6 innings of play, it's the Tigers 5, Toronto nothing.
Hello, this is... J.P. McCarthy maintains your morning merry-go-round from 6 till 10 in the music hall. Be sure to join him tomorrow morning here on Radio 76.
Ready to go in the 7th, and here's Ernie.
Thank you, Paul. Ron LaFleur takes that first pitch from Singer. It's low and in close on Ron, ball 1. LaFleur had a triple his third time at bat. He has 1 for 3. Tigers lead him 5-0 in the 7th. Line shot. Past the shortstop Baylor into left center field. Fielded by the center fielder Wood. Big turn for LaFleur. He's on with a single. His second hit out is the first single the Tigers have had. They had a double by Fuentes, a triple by LaFleur, a double by Ogilvie, a home run by Kemp, and now a single. Here's Cito, who doubled in the first inning and scored the first run. Going to third on the pass ball, coming in on an error by Garcia. That got the Tigers out in front. They added another run in the 5th inning on a 2-out walk to Wagner and a triple by LaFleur. And they picked up 3 in the 6th inning on the first home run of the career of Steve Kemp. After Ogilvie doubled and Thompson walked, Kemp unloaded one. There's a ball outside, throw to second, and safe at second base is LaFleur as he went in with his first steal of the year. And he had Ashby Slow beaten by a good margin. Got a big jump on Singer. Pitches outside to Fuentes. Tigers lead 5-0, trying to add to that margin here in the 7th inning. Singer sets, delivers, Fuentes looks at the low one outside. 2-0, the count on Kiko. Outfield playing in to left. Singer pitches. There's a bounding ball back to Singer. He checks LaFleur back to second, throws to first. Fuentes is out. No advance. 1 down, still a man at second, and Ben Ogilvie steps in. He's been saved from the error by Garcia. Fly struck out the next time at bat and then doubled. Warm, sunshiny day in Toronto. Looking for possible showers here tomorrow. Throw to second, and back in time is LaFleur. Baylor, the shortstop, ducking behind and taking the throw. Rusty Staub has come to the on-deck circle. Singer sets, delivers. It's a high curve to Ben. Ball 1. Well, the Blue Jays have their own theme song called The Blue Jays, aptly enough. And it's sung by Paul Staple. Yes, sir. All your people are musical, aren't they? Right. Here's a ball outside. 2-0 the count. The words by Michael P. Lococo, relative of our good friend Tommy Gilardi back in Detroit. Ogilvie waiting on Singer. Here it comes. He swings as it drives to right. It'll be down in the corner. Base hit. Rounding third, LaFleur. He's coming home. Chasing the ball in the corner is Boulding. And on to second goes Ogilvie with a run-producing double. The Tigers add to their lead and now lead it 6-0. Here comes manager Roy Hartsfield out of the dugout. There may be a pitching change at this point. That's the second double by Ogilvie. And he picks up an RBI. So we are, Mr. Terry, going to get a pitching change here in Toronto's Exhibition Stadium. I believe that is Johnson. He was warming up earlier, but we better check and be sure.
I wish that a team such as Toronto or Seattle, expansion teams, would put names on the uniforms, really. They have no numbers on the front of the jerseys, just on the back, and no names. And you've got so many new people on both these ball clubs, it's hard to tell who is who. And so far, I still haven't seen a number. Yeah, it's Jerry Johnson. All right, Jerry is coming on here in relief of Bill Singer. The Tigers have finally found their hits here today. It's been a long time coming. Royals certainly had their bats with them when they came to Detroit for that opening 3-game series, and Tigers got a little bit out of it yesterday. Good to see Thompson hit the home run, the first of the season for the Tigers, but today they're unloading the extra base hits. As Vinny pointed out, every one of their hits so far, a total of 6, every one but one has been an extra base blow, with a total of 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run. LaFleur's single, the only base hit. Ron has scored already in this inning after picking up his first steal, and there's a lot of firsts here in this ball game, with a first steal by LaFleur, the first home run by Kemp, and the Tigers well in front with a 6-0 lead in the top of the 7th inning. Ogilvy with a couple of doubles back-to-back in the 6th and 7th innings. Good to see Ben beginning to stroke the bat well. Rusty Staub, who struck out twice against Singer, gets a look here now at Jerry Johnson, a veteran who has jobbed around, spent most of his career in the National League, but did appear for a while with the Cleveland Indians, you may recall. He's ready. Ernie?
And Jerry appearing now with his 7th Major League team, ready to pitch to Rusty, and the right-hander fires a fastball that's in for a strike call. Phillies, the Cards, San Francisco, Cleveland, Houston, San Diego, all points west. Hawaii at the end of last season. There's a ball outside. 1-1 the count on Staub. Johnson's been around since '63. Actually started as a third baseman and then turned pitcher. The 2-0 pitch. Rusty swings and it's a high fly to left. It's not very deep. It's near the line. Scott racing over, and he cannot get it. It's a foul ball by about a foot. Very, very close to being a fair ball, and it dropped in among 3 of them, Scott, McKay, and Baylor. Scott had the best chance for it, but he still had a long way to go.
Yeah, I guess we can't dispute the call because the umpire down there, McCoy, was right on top of the plate to make the call. He was right on the line. It bounced in front of him about 8 feet, so he could tell for sure.
He might have had a better chance to catch it than any of the 3 of them.
That's right. Yesterday, Sherwood Merrill, the rookie who's behind the plate today, had the better chance on that pop fly to right field that was foul, and nobody got it that time. He kind of blocked Garcia out of the way yesterday.
Actually, there's not much foul territory in this ballpark, which goes against the pitchers.
Just a little crowded down there.
And a lot of balls that could be caught in foul territory in other parks will reach the seats in this one. Now, Rusty takes a fastball outside. 3-1, the count on Staub. Man on second, Ogilvy. The Tigers in the lead, 6-0. We're in the 7th inning in Toronto. There's a fastball in for a strike, and the count is full on Rusty Staub. Big blow this ball game, a 3-run homer by the rookie outfielder Steve Kemp. Here's the set by Jerry Johnson, and the pitch, it is a ball in too close, and he walked him. It's like a breaking ball that broke inside. Tigers have 2 on, and here is Jason Thompson looking for his first hit today. Taking a call, third strike, bounced to shortstop. The last time up, drew a walk. 1 down, 2 on, Tigers ahead, 6-0, 7th inning. Outfield straight up on Jason. He looks. It is a strike call to pass the ball over. They've got the infield in double play depth now. Not many outfield chances in this game. Both the pitchers, the starters, said the batter's hitting the ball on the ground a lot. He takes the ball low. That was a breaking ball. 1-1, the count on Jason Thompson. Staub at first. Ogilvie at second base with a short lead. There's a topper foul rolled over toward the dugout of the Tigers. Well, Early Wynn working next door to us with Tom Cheek, the play-by-play man on the radio. Early once threw a ball at manager Lopez when he came in to take him out. Hit him in the stomach. And Al decided that Early had such speed and control that he needed no relief. Let him stay in there. It's better to live than be a strategist. Here's a 1-2 pitch. He takes it outside. 6-0, Tigers in the lead. 2 men on with the Tide. 1 man out. Here it comes. He looks at Carl Mays for the Red Sox when he was taken out of the ball game. Threw the ball in the stands. He jumped the club, vowed he'd never again pitch for the Red Sox, and was later traded to the New York Yankees. Fastball wide, and Thompson walks out below the bases. Ogilvie moves to third. Staub to second. Thompson to first base. And Mr. Johnson in the spot now with Kemp coming up. He bounced out the first 2 times and then hit his first major league home run, a 3-run homer the next trip. Johnson has won 1 and lost none in 1 appearance. He's worked only 2 3/3 innings prior to this stint, and 1 run allowed. There's a strike called on the young Mr. Kemp. He took a fastball that nipped the inside corner. Three men on the bases, 1 man down. The windup and the pitch to Speed. Swing and a miss. He swung his helmet off that time. Thought of a change up on a curve by Johnson. Ogilvie, Staub, Thompson all on the bases. Tigers have made their hits count. They had 6 runs on 6 hits. Johnson ahead of the batter, Kemp, but they strike 2 pitch coming up. He swings and misses. Struck him out on the fastball. That was a bad pitch. Kemp seemed over-anxious and went for an outside delivery. Johnson racked up his first strikeout, so he's walked 2 and struck out 1 since he took over. And here's the left-handed batting catcher, Milt May. Milt has walked, fly to left, and fanned. Right-handed Johnson working on him. Low and outside for a ball. After May, it'll be Aurelio Rodriguez. Here's a strike called. He's keeping that ball down. He's missing the strike zone in his wrist when he misses it. But so far, Johnson's keeping the ball down most of the time on these hitters. 3 runners edging off. The windup by Johnson. He pitches. Here's a ball low. That was the curve. Outfield plays May straight away. He hits to center field a lot. Oh, that bat up and waiting on the next delivery. 2-1 pitch. Swing. There's a fly ball. Hit up in the air back of first base. Alt is under it. The first baseman catches it, and the side retires. Caught that ball about a foot in fair territory, and the Tigers get 1, but they leave 3 runners on. They had 1 run on 2 hits. Now, there were 2 walks, no errors, and 3 Tigers left on base. We go to the last half of the 7th inning, and it is Detroit 6, Toronto nothing.
You have heard me speak of silence. But something of which I am most proud, its uncommon value. This becomes apparent when Cordova is compared to other fine automobiles. Pontiac Grand Prix, for example. Cordova has more room for more passenger comfort, more luggage space. Cordova even has Then there are those features that cannot be compared. Like Cordova's exclusive lean burn engine for smooth performance. Yet, the Cordova S is priced no more than Grand Prix.
Price comparison based on manufacturer's suggested prices of comparably equipped vehicles.
Cordova, truly an uncommon value among fine automobiles.
See the 77 Cordova S at your Greater Detroit Chrysler Plymouth dealers today.
Talking about the pitcher's reaction on being taken out of the ballgame. We forgot about old Walter Boom Boom Beck. In fact, that story is recounted in the current Sports Illustrated. The old story about Boom Boom when he got taken out of the ballgame in Baker Field. He threw the ball up against the fence in right field, and Hack Wilson was sort of dozing over there, getting rid of his hangover, and he woke him up when it hit the 10 fence, and Hack ran after the ball, picked it up, and threw it back into the infield. Thought a guy had a triple. Ralph Alf is telling us that he very seldom has had any trouble taking a man out, but once in a while with the Yankees, he had a guy give him a dirty stare. Here's Velez coming to bat now against Roberts to lead off in the 7th for the Blue Jays. And Otto takes a change-up to tie for a ball. They're almost over-shifting on him. They've got He's all the way over to second base. 6-0 the score. The Tigers have the 6th. Roberts goes into action, delivers. Here's a bombing ball back to Roberts. What a stop. Throw to first. He got him. Fine play by Dave. He speared that hard one hopper. Here's Gary Woods, who's gone 0 for 2. He's hit the ball on the ground. Roberts, when he's right, will come out with a lot of ground balls off the opposition bats. That's what's been happening today. Here's the windup by the left-hander. The pitch is outside. We'd like to repeat the earlier story that Willie Horton has been dealt to the Texas Rangers. We had an interview with Willie before the ball game on a pregame show. Tigers do not know what compensation they'll get for Willie yet. He was expected to be a player, but he's not yet been named. There's a pitch low ball, too. Willie is going to consult with his agent, Charlie Dye, before the deal is completely okayed by him. There's a tap foul out of the mitt of Milt. When we talked to Willie, he seemed perfectly willing to go. There didn't seem to be any problem at that time. And he asked us to thank all the folks in Detroit who had treated him so well during his baseball career with the Tigers. Now the 2-1 delivery. It's a strike call that got in above the knees on Gary Woods. There are 2 Woods on this club. Al Woods is a left-hand batter. Gary Woods is a right-hand batter. Both are outfielders. There's a bombing ball again back to Roberts. He has this one. Throw to first. Got him again. Oh, there are 2 outs the same way. Pitcher to first. And Steve Bowling will step in. He's got a walk and a strikeout. Tigers ahead, 6-0. Big Tiger blow, a 3-run homer by Kemp today. There's a cut and a miss by Bowling. Roberts changed up on him and got the ball in on his hand. Next pitch is in too close. And Mr. Bowling has a count of 1-1. Outfield to left. David kicks, delivers. Here's a swing and a miss, and he used his curve effectively that time.
Well, the Blue Jays have just gotten some bad news. Their fine young catcher, Rick Cerrone, has sustained a broken right thumb.
That's tough. Although they're strong in the catching department, they've got Ashby and Roof also to back him up. But it is still bad news. It's a ball. Oh, that one hit in front of the plate.
They have Ernie Whitt, native of the Detroit area. Also, he was sent down right at the end of spring training, and he's available to them.
Tigers got one in the first, one in the fifth, three in the sixth, one in the seventh. Now Roberts works on the next delivery. It's very wide. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That's the count. Holding, waiting with his feet close together, likes to move into the pitch. Here comes, and he takes outside. Roberts' serve didn't bend across. With the third walk issued by Dave, let's pause for station identification. This is the Detroit Tiger Baseball Network.
Nothing is as permanent as change, and Radio 76 News helps you to understand with time-tested, reliable reporting from WJR Detroit.
Scott at the plate, and the Blue Jay fans will get a little rhythmic applause around us as a bounding ball to first. It is gloved by Thompson. He makes the play unassisted, and Scott is out. Side retired, no runs, no hits, no errors, a man left. We go to the 8th inning. It is the Tigers 6 and the Blue Jays nothing.
When Bob McDaniel goes to work at a jack tracker at the Marathon Refinery in Robinson, Illinois, he doesn't work alone. He gets together with Eldon Cooper, Keith Mason, and Werner Ferguson, and together they go about the business of turning heavy oils into gasoline and fuel oil. Bob McDaniel could work alone, but the job wouldn't get done as well or at all without the help of Eldon, Keith, and Werner, because each of them brings something special to the job. They get together to do it better. A company is like its people, because it is people. When Marathon found oil, our oil people got together with some pipeline people, who got together with some refining people, who got together with some service station people, so we could do it better. We got together to do it better. Marathon Oil Company. We got together to do it better.
Jimmy Lance manipulates that mid-morning mirth and music for us from 10 till noon. Be sure to join Jimmy tomorrow morning here on WJR.
New pitcher for the Jays, it'll be Chuck Hartenstein, the Chucky right-hander from Austin, Texas, pitching to Aurelio Rodriguez. Hartenstein sidearms him, and it is a strike call. He's got all kinds of deliveries. Sidearm, overhand, underhand, whatever you need, he can supply. There's that underhand pitch, and it is a wide one on Aurelio. 1-1 the count. First time out for Hartenstein this year. He delivers a swing and a miss by Rodriguez. 1-2 the count on him now. Tigers ahead in the 8th inning, 6-0. Cut and a miss, struck him out. Oh, he sidearmed him like crazy. Here's Mark Wagner coming to bat. Hartenstein, a real veteran. He's 34 years old now. He'll be 35 next month. Pitched last season at Hawaii. Gives him a fastball for a strike. He had 6 straight years in the minors after the 70 season with 3 different big league ball clubs. Another strike by Chuck. In 70, his last year in the big leagues, he was with Pittsburgh, the Cardinals, and the Red Sox. And at one time, you remember, pitched for the Cubs. Here's a cut and a miss. Ooh, that sidearm is giving him fits. 2 down, both on strikeouts, and here's Ron LaFleur. Ron bounced to third, taking a call, third strike. The last 2 times up, he's had hits. He tripled in the 5th inning, and he singled in the 7th. Tigers lead 6-0, 8th inning. Trying to get their first win of the year. Swing and a tip foul to the mid of Ashby. University of Texas product. Hartenstein. There's the underhand curve, and it's fouled away. Chuck weighs about 170. Outfield on the floor, a little bit to left. Here's the strike 2 pitch. It's a wide one. One thing about Hartenstein, he's gotten ahead of everybody, and then goes to work on that strike 2 count. Now he rocks and delivers. A change-up, struck him out. Oh, he did the job. 3 strikeouts. And here come the Jays to bat in the 8th inning. The Tigers 6, Toronto nothing.
J.P. McCarthy talked it over in the...
It's 15 and a half minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. I almost fell off my chair. Ouch. Full ankle. Paul, how are you?
Hello, Joe. You beat me out of bed this morning.
You just talked all morning. I wouldn't do that, Krieger.
The Morning Music Hall, 6 to 10 on WJR.
I'm not superstitious, and I don't believe in horoscopes.
Yours looks good.
I'm not afraid to walk in the ladders either.
I'm not talking about horoscope.
No?
I'm talking about horoscope, the new instant lottery game. You could win up to $10,000 instantly.
Oh, yeah?
Or qualify for $1 million elimination draw.
Now you spilled the salt.
So what?
That's bad luck. Throw some over your shoulder.
Oh, so you're not superstitious.
Introducing Horoscope, the new instant lottery game. All signs say it could be the greatest instant lottery game ever.
Now clap your hands twice and hold your breath while I dance around the table.
My soup is getting cold.
Michigan Bureau of State Lottery.
Don't forget the scoreboard show today with Paul Carey. Paul will have details of the Major League action for you. We got one final in already. Pittsburgh beat Montreal 2-1. That's their only final so far. We've got all kind of Western Union problems here. Should see a heart specialist. We have a bum ticker. Here's McKay at the plate. And it is a strike called. Dave Roberts working on a 6-0 lead. McKay 1 for 2. He's hit it every game, including this one. Swings and misses. Warm, sunshiny afternoon in Toronto. Good to be at the ballpark. Come on out to Tiger Stadium when we get home. Check that schedule. We'll see you out there. Time call by the plate umpire Merrill. Roberts into action, delivers. Here's a cut and a miss. And another strikeout for Dave Roberts. McKay goes down swinging. That is the third for Dave. They've all come since the 4th inning.
Number 8, the catcher, Alan Ashby.
Alan Ashby, who replaced the injured Rick Cerrone, has gone up twice without a hit. Cerrone has a broken hand. We'll pass that word along to you once again. There's a change-up pitch that gets across on Ashby. Switch batter batting right-handed. There's a ball low to him. Ashby had a broken thumb last year. In fact, the game against the Tigers back in August. Young Californian waiting, and the pitch is cut on as a drive to left. It's deep, maybe. Going back is Tip, and this one is out of here. A home run for Ashby. Alan Ashby gets his first home run of the year to spoil the shutout bid by Dave Roberts. Leadoff man Baylor steps up. He swings the bounding ball. It's past short. It's a single. He makes a turn and hold on. That ball got through that infield in a big hurry. Wagner dived to the glove side but couldn't come up with it. This is the first inning in which Roberts has allowed more than one hit. He's now given up 4. A double by Velez leading off the second, a 2-out single by McKay in the 5th inning, and now a home run and a single back-to-back with 1 out in the 8th. Pete Garcia is stepping up. Infield and double play depth on Pedro. Roberts delivers. There's a foul chopped out of play in the dirt back of the plate. Don't forget Jacket Day when the Tigers get back home. It'll be May the 8th against Milwaukee, the first big gift day at Tiger Stadium. Red Willis and the gang there have plenty of tickets for you, so make your plans to be out there with us. In April, the Tigers are back for 2 series, 4-game set with Baltimore and a 2-game series with the White Sox. Roberts checking his sign now. Garcia waits. Here's the pitch. He swings. There's a drive to left. It's deep. Going over is LaFleur. Makes the catch up against the wall. Back to first heads Baylor. That ball hit up the alley. Hit pretty well. If he'd pulled it more, it would have been a home run. But LaFleur was able to get over and grab it at about the 375-foot marker. Here's Doug Alt, the first baseman, who's 0 for 3. He's bounced out 3 times. The first, the third, and the short. Don't know whether they do or not, but they ought to be able to call him Dugout Doug Alt. It's a ball low to Doug. Keller and Arroyo began to tune up with the Tigers in their bullpen. Tigers lead by 5, 6-1 in the 8th inning. Toronto at bat. They've got 2 down and the man at first. And the pitch is low, ball 2. 2-0 to count on off. He'll be followed by Velez. All the right-hand batter and the left-hand thrower. A rare combination. Swings and pops it in the air into short right center. Ogilvy is under this one. He has it. And the side retired. But the Jays get 1 on a home run by Ashby. 1 run, 2 hits. No errors, 1 left. That'd be in the base. The score, the Tigers 6, Toronto 1.
You're at the plate in the Labatt's baseball trivia game. Here's the pitch. Who drew the most votes in the first selection of players for the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York? Call timeout to think about it over a cool, refreshing Labatt's Blue. The answer, Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb gained 222 votes, 7 more than the great Babe Ruth or Honus Wagner. Great baseball calls for great beer. Labatt's Blue. Call for Labatt. Brewed in Canada since 1828. Distributed by Labatt Importers Incorporated, Buffalo, New York.
Labatt's Blue is available in selected markets throughout Michigan.
Mark Avery monitors the afternoon arrivals and departures from 3 to 6 in the Music Hall. Be sure to join Mark this afternoon right after Tiger baseball, here on the Goodwill Station.
Ninth inning in Toronto, Tigers lead 6-1. Paredes takes a fastball in from the right-hander Hartenstein. A ball 1 on Tito. Then Singer, Johnson, and Hartenstein on the mound for the Blue Jays. Here's a fly ball lifted into right field. It's not very deep. coming in his bowling. The right field is there. He has it. One up and one down in the Tiger Knights. Ben Ogilvy, who has doubles his last two trips and has given in a run, steps up. Mingy takes a strike on the inside corner. Here's a chopper wide at first. Hall feels it. Tosses to Hartenstein covering, and they got him. Oh, Rusty Staub will be the next man to bat. We'd like to repeat the earlier announcement that Willie Horton has been dealt to the Texas Rangers. The deal pending on the approval by Willie and his agent, Charlie Dye. We talked to Willie before the ball game. He seemed perfectly willing to go. And when he gives his approval, the Tigers will announce the compensation in the deal. They expect to get a player. There's a strike called on Rusty. Oh, there's a lot of speculation around the ballpark who that player might be. There's a drive hit to right field. It's hooking. It is a foul ball into the Detroit bullpen. The big blow in this game, a 3-run homer by Steve Kemp in the 6th inning. That blow made it 5-0 in favor of the Tigers. They scored their first run in the first on a double by Fuentes, a pass ball, and an error by Garcia. They scored again in the 5th inning on a walk to Wagner with 2 out on a triple by LaFleur. Then came the 3-run homer. Then the Tigers added another run in the 7th on a single by LaFleur and a double by Ogilvy. Now, Rusty's not quite ready. He wants to step out for a moment. Here's the windup by Hartenstein. The pitch is a fastball high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Roberts has gone all the way for the Tigers. Singer, Johnson, and Hartenstein for the opposition. There's a slow one outside. 2 balls and a couple of strikes on Rusty Staub. 2 down, nobody out of the ninth. He swings bounding ball hit to the right of Garcia, gobbles it up, throw to Alt in time. The Tigers are down 1-2-3 for the 2nd inning against Hartenstein. Oh, he's done the job, and now the Blue Jays come to bat in the last half tonight. It's Detroit 6 to Toronto 1.
I got a story to tell, I'm ashamed to say, about a car that drank too much. Like a bar hopping chump who went from pump to pump, guzzling gas and such. The way that car was drinking gas, I should have thought it in whiskey jugs. But that was before I saw the light and bought a box of Champion Slug. Fill her up, fill her up, fill her up with Champion. Pull out the old, plug it into me, fill her up with Champion. Better mileage and performance, and I'm not one for bragging. Since I filled her up with Champion Plug, that car's been on the wagon.
Here the Jays batting in the 9th inning, and Velez leads it off. He takes the ball outside from left-hander Dave Roberts. 6-1, the Tigers ahead, trying to get their first win of the year. There's a pitch wide, and the count is 2-0 on Otto. Gary Woods and Steve Boulding will follow. He takes outside, ball 3. Outfield deep to left. Velez waiting. Here it comes. He's taking all the way to strike. Looking forward to the action tomorrow. We'll be on the air at 1:15 with their pregame show. There's a ball low. And Robert, this is his fourth walk. Gary Woods will be the next man to bat. Well, tomorrow we expect to have as our pregame guest Roy Hartsfield, the manager of this Toronto Blue Jay team. Woods has bounced out 3 times. To short, to third, and back to the pitcher. There's a chopper foul rolling over to Jackie Moore, the third base coach. One-time Tiger. Runs, 6 hits, no errors for Detroit. Toronto with 1 run, 4 hits, they've made 3 errors. Check by Roberts. He pitches. It's a bounder out in front of the plate. Picked up by May. He'll go to first base with it. They get him. And on to second goes the runner, Velez. The play will go the catcher to the first baseman, retiring Wood. Here is Steve Bowling. He's walked, struck out, and he's walked. Roberts has allowed 4 hits. One of them a home run by Ashby to provide the Torontos with their only run so far. Tigers ahead 6-1. There's a ball outside from Dave. John Scott comes to the on-deck circle for Toronto. Roberts checking his sign with Milt May. Holds it at the belt. He pitches. It's a change-up that gets across. Tomorrow it'll be Bob Sykes against Dave LeManchik. And on Thursday, in the final game of the series, Ray Bear versus Jerry Garvin. And then the Tigers head out to Kansas City for their first trip to that metropolis for the year. Strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bowling is stepping away after he said a word or two to the rookie umpire, Durward Merrill. Sounds like an opera singer. This is a curve that's over, but it's a little bit high. 2-2. Man on second, Velez, not much of a lead for Otto. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fly ball. It's a deep right. Ogilvy going back, reaches up, and he makes the catch. Hits the fence and comes off throwing. Great catch by Ben. He got sort of a late start on the ball, and then he crashed into that fence out there, bounced back, and threw the ball back into the infield, and Velez stays at second base. Ball hit hard to the opposite field by Bowling for the out. Here's John Scott. Hit into fourth to short. He's bounced to third and bounced to first base. 1 to go, and Roberts will have the Tigers' first victory of the season. Man on second, Velez. Here's the set by Dave Roberts. The left-handed pitches. It's a wide fastball ball run. When the Blue Jays get through this series with the Tigers, they move on to Chicago. There's a strike. He hit the outside corner with a breaking ball. So Scott has a 1-1 count on him. This ballpark is located right in the exhibition ground. There and here, the shores of Lake Ontario. Here's the pitch. Swing, fly ball, center field, coming hard is LaFleur. Can he get there? He does, and the Tigers get their first win of the year. In the ninth inning, the Blue Jays, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And the final score this afternoon, the Tigers 6, the Blue Jays 1.
City National Bank hidden wandering microphone here at a competitive bank in town that would like you to believe it pays higher interest on regular savings than City National.
Sir, have you been helped?
Thank you. I was wondering how your 5% regular daily interest savings account compares with City National's 5% daily interest plus continuous compounding.
Well, where the big difference is in our tellers. You should get to know them.
Your bank just gives daily interest, right?
And we're open till 6 o'clock on Friday.
But City National gives you daily interest, then continuously compounds that daily interest for an effective annual yield of 5.20%.
And we have convenient drive-in windows.
Which is higher than your 5%, isn't it?
And we make sure every customer gets a free calendar. Here, let me get you one. I'll just be in there.
Well, folks, if you're more interested in getting the highest bank interest possible than in getting free calendars, save at City National, where you get the best bank savings deal in town.
City National Bank. Also available at National Bank of Rochester, First National Bank of Plymouth, and First Citizens Bank in Troy. Members FDIC.
Well, the Tigers finally get one in the W column over here in Toronto by defeating the Blue Jays 6-1 behind the steady, strong pitching of Dave Roberts and some extra base hitting by the Tigers. Not so many hits, a total of only 6. But it was enough to give them 6 runs thanks to the addition of an error in the first inning. But a 3-run homer by Steve Kemp in the 6th inning, the big blow in the Tiger victory. The Tigers had scored a run in the first when with 1 out, Tito Fuentes hit a ground rule double bouncing over the fence in center field, moved to third on a pass ball, and came in to score when Ben Ogilvy's ground ball was mishandled by Pedro Garcia at second base. The Tigers made it 2-0 in the 5th inning. With 2 outs, Mark Wagner walked, and Ron LaFleur tripled to center field to score Wagner all the way from first. In the 6th inning, Ben Ogilvy led off with the first of his 2 straight doubles into the right field corner. With 1 out, Jason Thompson walked, and both rode home ahead of a 3-run homer by Steve Kemp. A tremendous blast just to the right of straightaway center field. That made it 5-0 Tigers. They added another run in the 7th inning and KO'd starting pitcher Bill Singer at the same time. Ron LaFleur led off with a single, stole second, and scored on a double into the corner by Ogilvy. Jerry Johnson took over at that point, walked 2 men to load the bases, but got the next 2 to avoid any further scoring. And then Chuck Hartenstein came on to set down the 6 Tigers he faced in the 8th and 9th innings. Dave Roberts went all the way for the Tigers, who get their first complete game performance out of a member of the mound staff. They walked 4, struck out 3, and allowed 4 hits. And seemed to get the ball up a little bit in the last couple of innings, but some excellent fielding by Ben Ogilvy and Ron LaFleur for the last 2 putouts. The ball game saved any further problems. A home run by Alan Ashby in the 8th inning with 1 out was the only run scored off Roberts. 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Detroit. For Toronto, 1 run, 4 hits, and 3 errors. Bill Singer takes the loss. Roberts gets the victory. And the series here in Toronto is all even at a game apiece. It's a 4-game series. So number 3 in the series comes up tomorrow afternoon. It'll be the first Major League start for left-handed rookie Bob Sykes, who made an appearance in relief in the Kansas City series and looked strong. Sykes will go against the ex-Tiger right-hander Dave Lemanchik, who pitched a complete game in his first outing for the Blue Jays. And our broadcast coverage will begin at 1:15 with Ernie Harwell's pregame program. Well, that's the story from Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. For Ernie, this is Paul Carey saying so long. Once again, the final score, the Detroit Tigers 6, the Toronto Blue Jays 1.
This has been Tiger Baseball Action, brought to you by Labatt, brewed in Canada since 1828. By your Greater Detroit Chrysler Plymouth dealers, who invite you to see all their 1977 models now on display. By Marathon Oil Company, people who got together to work together to do it better. By the Champion Spark Plug Company. Champion reminds you that the fresher your plugs, the better your mileage. By City National Bank, where your regular 5% savings earn 5.20% effective annual yield, the highest in Detroit. By Sears, where America shops. And by the Detroit News, who extend their best wishes for a winning season. Go Tigers! This
broadcast is made possible by the Detroit Baseball Club and the American League and is intended for the private use of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast or any other use of this play-by-play is prohibited unless prior consent is received from WJR Detroit, the Detroit Tiger Baseball Club, and the American League. Ernie Harwell and Paul Carey have been selected jointly by the Detroit Tiger Baseball Club and WJR Radio to broadcast today's play-by-play and are employed jointly by WJR and the Detroit Tigers. This is the Detroit Tiger Baseball Network.
America's great radio station, this is WJR Detroit, Radio 76.
And mouthwash is 89 cents.
Wait a second.
You can't use it here. There's no place to stay.
No, I have some pictures I want to develop. When will they be ready?
How about Thursday?
It's Thursday. Okay, you make a note of that.
Can I write it down there?
I was going to.
Oh, well, then let's say Tuesday.
2 days early.
Oh, 5
days later. I thought as much.
If this customer were at a Photomat store, we'd be introducing him to our brand new picture pickup promise. Photomat's way of telling you in writing exactly when your pictures will be ready. We'll put the day and time right on your receipt instead of this.
What if I come in Tuesday and they're not ready?
Then they'll be back Wednesday for sure.
Wednesday?
It'll take over the weekend, then it'll be Monday first thing. If not Monday, middle of the week, Friday the latest, or over the weekend, Monday next.
Why don't I have my grandson come in and get it?
You're awfully young to have a grandson.
I don't even have any children yet. Photomat is good pictures, ready when promised. If not, we'll give you a free roll of film.
There's a Photomat store around here.
A picture pickup promise for all Photomat and Kodak film.
And what's better than a roll of good, fresh Photomat color-print film? Zero on sale. Take a pair for as low as $1.99 from Photomat. Participating stores.
Welcome to the Paul Carey Scoreboard Show, brought to you by your Greater Detroit Midas Theaters, the only guys who Midasize. Now, for the scores, the players who made news, and a resume of the action of today's baseball games, back to the stadium and Paul Carey.
Good afternoon again from Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, where today the Tigers notched their first victory of the season behind the strong pitching of Dave Roberts, a 6-1 victory for Detroit. We have rather limited action in the afternoon in both leagues. Just a couple of games this afternoon in the National League. At New York, after 6 innings of play now, the New York Mets lead the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 4-0. Tom Seaver all the way for the Mets. Rasmussen, the pitcher for St. Louis. John Milner homered with nobody aboard in the first inning for New York, his first of the year. And the catcher Stearns has homered in the sixth inning for New York, his first of the year. It's 4-0. The Mets, after 6 innings, they lead the Cardinals. The other contest is at Pittsburgh, and that one is complete. The Pirates coming up with a run in the bottom of the 9th inning to pull out a 2-1 victory over Montreal. For Pittsburgh, 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. For the Expos, 1 run, 8 hits, and no errors. A winning run coming in the bottom of the 9th inning when Rennie Stennett doubled in Dave Parker to give the Pirates their 2-1 victory. The victory going to Rich Gossage, who had entered the game in the 9th inning and set down the side in the top of the 9th. Royce started for Pittsburgh, relieved by Tacova in the 7th, Gossage taking over in the 9th. For Montreal, Hannes started, and Kerrigan came on in the 8th inning. McInerney entered in the 9th, and McInerney pitched the loss. 2-1, the Pirates beat Montreal. 3 games scheduled tonight in the National League. Cincinnati is at Houston. The probable starters, Zachary for the Reds, Richard for the Astros. Atlanta is at Los Angeles, and it'll be Messersmith for the Braves, with Roden going to the Dodgers. And out on the coast tonight, San Francisco plays at San Diego, where the starters expected to be McLaughlin for the Giants and Randy Jones going for San Diego. A quick check of the American League scores and schedule in 1 minute.
Noisy mufflers? Don't compromise. Midasize.
The next time you hear that noise, don't look around, cause it might be your car. The next time you hear that noise, the sound of your muffler, a light in your garden. Neutralize it, modify it, and ride it today. The next time you hear that noise, don't compromise. Midasize.
Midas-size your car, and you'll never have to buy a muffler for it again. Because at Midas, if anything ever goes wrong, we guarantee to replace the muffler free for as long as you own your American-made car.
The next time you hear that noise, don't compromise. Midas-size.
There are over 20 Midas shops in the greater Detroit area. Most shops are now open on Mondays and Fridays until 7 p.m.
In the American League, there were 3 other games scheduled this afternoon in addition to the Tiger contest at Milwaukee after 3 innings of play. We're a little late on the scores coming in here at Toronto because of a lack of pitcher service. Baltimore and Milwaukee scoreless after 3. It's Jim Palmer on the mound for the Birds and Bill Travers going for Milwaukee, both making their second starts of the year. 0-0 Baltimore and Milwaukee after 3 innings. At Chicago, 3 innings complete. The White Sox, with 4 runs in the bottom of the second inning, lead Boston by a score of 5-1. Ken Brett pitching for Chicago. Wise started for Boston, and Rick was relieved by Tom Murphy in the second inning. 5-1, Chicago leading Boston after 3. Coming up just about to start out in Oakland, the A's are taking on the California Angels, and it's expected that Nolan Ryan will be going for the Angels against north of the A's. One game tonight in the American League. That finds Minnesota playing in the Kingdome in Seattle, and Minnesota will go with Pazik against Romo of the Mariners. I'll be back with a recheck of the Tiger game in 1 minute.
When you go places, the show places at Sheraton. There's nowhere on earth you'd rather be. From mountain clubs to sandy beaches, to nightlife swings, to good life reaches, across the flag, around the world, as far as you can see.
This weekend, get out of town. In fact, leave the country. Come spend a Showplace weekend in Toronto at the Sheridan Center. Have your travel agent call or call 800-325-3535 for details about our terrific weekend package. That's 800-325-3535. Why spend a weekend in an ordinary place when you can have a Showplace weekend at Toronto's Sheridan Center?
When you go places, the show
Here at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, 11,505 Toronto Blue Jays fans turned out hoping their team would make it 2 in a row over the Tigers, but today Dave Roberts was a tough pitcher for Detroit. Their opening day selection came back to square his record at 1-1 by stopping the Blue Jays on just 4 hits. Dave walking 4, striking out 3. The Tigers making things a little easier for Dave today with a 3-run first in the 6th inning. All runs coming on the first homer of his Major League career for Steve Kent. The Tigers had scored 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 5th on a triple by Ron LaFleur, and added 1 more in the 7th on Ben Ogilvy's run-scoring 2-base hit. For Detroit, 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors. For Toronto, 1 run, 4 hits, and 3 errors. Their only run coming on a homer by Alan Ashby in the bottom of the 8th inning. So the series is even at a game apiece. The Tigers now 1-4 on the year. And in Game 3 of the 4-game series tomorrow, Bob Sykes makes his first Major League start for Detroit. He'll oppose ex-Tiger Dave Lemanchik. That's today's scoreboard show from Toronto. This is Paul Carey wishing you good afternoon.
The Paul Carey Sports Scoreboard was brought to you by your Greater Detroit Midas dealers, the only guys who Midasize. The Paul Carey Sports Scoreboard is heard right after all Detroit Tiger baseball games. This is the Detroit Tigers Baseball Network.